Hey guys, Jake from What the Thock here. Today we're going to be having a look at the Cidoo ABM066. This is a tri-mode keyboard with an LCD screen, and it does have that VIA connection. It's also tri-mode, so we get the Bluetooth, wired, and the 2.4 GHz dongle. Being an Alice board, it is a bit unique, but let's see how it goes. First of all, let's look at this box. Very cute with the little cats and stuff. Yeah. What do we get inside? First up, we get the keyboard itself in a nice dustproof / I assume static proof bag. We've got it in the white here. We got the 2.4, those little kickstands, so if you like it on an angle, as well as on this one, we've got that USB. Is it magnetic? No, it doesn't appear to be magnetic in there. That's right, it gets held in by the kickstands. But yeah, it's got that Alice layout, so it's a bit of an angle. It comes with some stabs. They seem to be plate mount stabs, but I'll confirm that later. We've got the media knob. It's got a little bit of wobble, but it's not too bad. I'm not sure what this little button here does at the moment, so we'll find out. And it's got that LCD screen, TFT LCD. So we'll go over that in a sec. What else? We've got the manual. It's actually a pretty hefty manual. I'm sure there's a lot of different languages in here, but it's got all the functions, tells you about the auto sleep, the software, which is nice, what you can do with the software, how to install VIA and do that, and then yeah. So we'll go over that. It's actually pretty hefty for what it is. Not bad. We've got this cute little image. What else? In here, we've got a nice little braided cable. Very simple, but braided. It looks to be a little bit gold looking at the ends, although I don't know if that means anything, but USB-C to USB-A for that wired connection and charging. We've also got one of the standard keycap and switch pullers. It's nice that it's already kind of ready for the keycaps. A lot of these come and you have to bend them yourself, and sometimes it's hard to sort out. And that's it. This looks up. Anything else? Any secrets? No? Alrighty. So today we're going to be using the KTT Red Wine switches. They're quite a thocky switch because they've got a nice long travel. They are linears, and I think they'll go alright in this board. It is a plastic board, so I'm not sure how the sound's going to sound, but it's got plenty of foam. We're also going to be using these CSA profile double shot PBT, well, they're falling out, double shot PBT keycaps. They're quite thick, not the thickest I've seen, but they're pretty good. And I think it'll look cute, the white, the black, the pink. I'm not sure if this set actually will have the split space bars, but we'll make do with what we can. That is one thing, when you are working with a Alice board, it does have a very ergonomic layout. I've never used it, so it's gonna be interesting to feel how it goes, but you do need to make sure your keycap set comes with enough modifier keys, either specific for Alice or just other ones if you don't mind it saying whatever, but enough modifier keys that it will cover the split space bars as well as the extra function and all that. I believe it does have B on both of these. Still gotta read the instructions to figure out what that is. But this is an Alice layout. It is an ergonomic layout. It's meant to be easier to type on, as well as reduce how much you have to move your wrists. It's made of plastic. It's a little bit hollow, a little bit pingy, but it does have a fair amount of foam in there. South facing hot swappable RGB, hot swappable PCB. What is interesting to me is that, I don't know if you can see this, but the foam doesn't seem to have the cutouts for the pins. So I don't know if I'm gonna have to pierce that myself or what. They are there, they're just not very deep. So yeah, let's get started. One thing to note, it can take 5-pin switches, but today we are using 3-pin, but should be able to use both. Although on this one, as I said, the foam doesn't really seem to be punctured all that much, so I'm not sure how it's gonna go. It seems to be gasket mounted or flex mount plate, because there's plenty of flex when I'm putting these switches in. One thing I am finding when I'm putting these switches in is we've got lots of flex cuts on this plate to give it a nice like bounce. So it probably is gonna feel great, but on some of these keys, I'm really struggling to get the switch to mount into the plate correctly because it's just flexing so much. So I'm actually having to kind of hold the plate while I push that switch in. Shouldn't be an issue, but just be aware that it is a little trickier compared to some of the others that I've had to mount. Show you how it looks once we've put it all together. Alrighty, so just got all the switches in, went reasonably easy. I did have the trouble of the plate being very flexy, so I did have to pull it up in places, but in the end they all went in, no real issues. One thing to note is that the gasket performance or the flex cuts, I'm not sure if this is actually gasket, I'll have to confirm. It's really strong in certain areas, but then up, like in these corners, over here, sure, but some spots like up here, there's like almost no flex compared to how deep it goes in these other corners. So it's a bit strange. I don't know if that's just because of the mount up here, but this side has got like no flex, while this side's got, and through the center as well. Another thing, if you are going to be building boards and you're going to be, you know, using hot swap boards and swapping out switches from time to time, I highly recommend you get yourself a Kemove P10. These things just save you so much time when you are trying to quickly go through lots of switches at a time. It just makes it so easy compared to a traditional switch puller. Do I have a traditional switch puller here? I do. I've got the one that came with it. Actually, here's one. When you're using a traditional switch puller like this style that you normally would get in your keyboards, pulling out the switches, not only is it hard to get the exact right spot so that you activate the little thing, once you got them in, getting them out is a struggle sometimes. But with this, with the little pop, basically grabs hold, pulls it out easy, and then whoop, just shoots it out. It just makes life so much easier. I highly recommend one of these. If you haven't, check our link below. We've got them on sale at the moment, and they come in lots of pretty colors. All right, so we've got our keycaps here. If you haven't used an LS layout before, they do have on the menu this little layout, so you can see where you need to put them, but we'll chuck them in and see how we go. It's a 65% keyboard, so you don't need too many, but I think these will look cute on it. We'll see. Alrighty, so we got it all together. We did not have the correct modifiers, I guess. These space bars should be a very specific size. You can kind of have a look here and see that this one should be slightly bigger and this one should be a lot bigger. And it does show obviously here that it's got a lot of space on the sides. But most importantly, how does it sound? Quick sound test. All right, as you can see, I am not used to this layout at all. My brain is a bit fried doing the double space bars. I was also deciding which B to use. This says 0, just because again, this keycap set isn't really suited to an LS board. But yeah, let's plug it in. Let's see how the RGB goes. Right now, we're gonna be just using the wired mode. However, there's a lot of different, as I said, it's two tri-mode, so you got the Bluetooth and the 2.4. How you switch between them is function Q, W, E for the different Bluetooth modes and R for the 2.4. You also have to make sure that it's set, the switch here is set to the correct one. All right, look at the screen. That is really cute. Right now it tells me it's wired and then it's charging. So that's pretty cool. Media knob works straight away, tells me what my volume is. It's actually very responsive, feels really nice to use. This, in the instructions, did not say it's anything, and it's not even a button, you can't even press that. It may assist with, I guess, removing the top cover because it doesn't have any screws. I think it's clipped in or something. So that may help with that, but I'm not gonna play around with it now that the board's all together. RGB, honestly, looks really nice. I'm not sure if the camera's picking that up. Let me just turn this light off real quick and see if you can see it. Can you see that? Number one, you can see the RGB there, but the RGB here, that's south facing, really quite nice. But yeah, I'm gonna use this board a little bit and see how it goes and see if I get used to it. I'm just gonna pull up Notepad and just type some notes, if I can even spell Notepad with this right now. So the first thing that I'm noticing is that gaskets feel really nice. I wonder if this tells me caps locks or not. The screen down here doesn't really seem to say caps locks or not either. One thing of note, the time is not set correctly yet, so you will have to download their software to set the time and date. Right now it's saying it's 4:05 p.m. It's currently just coming up to 1 p.m. my time, and I think it says March 5th, but that's definitely not correct post. But yeah, caps locks, I don't know. The screen's not telling me if caps locks is on and off. This isn't changing. The RGB isn't changing. So Right now I don't have caps locks on. Does caps locks work? Maybe I need to go in and check that again. P10 switch puller makes, honestly, having this be flexible, yes, it can lock in if you need it to lock in, but having it flexible makes it really easy for these modifiers because you can still get underneath them without having to flex too hard. I'll just make sure that I didn't bend a pin on this. And yes, we do have a bent pin. Again, this is an issue of that foam not being pre-punctured, which is quite annoying. I'll put a new one in and see if the caps works and if we get a modifier light or something. So here we go. That's back in. Q, we got caps locks on, and we do have a little thing there. Caps locks, we do get a little notification on that, but we can do function enter toggles the LCD profile. I'm not sure what that means, and function X, so to make sure the function's working. Yep, that button's working. So it was just that one. I did notice one over here as well, but everything else seems to be working good. Overall, what do I think? For the money, I mean, I can't complain. It gives a really good entry-level chance to play around with a Alice style ergonomic keyboard. Does it feel better? I don't know, I'd have to get used to it. Right now my brain's a little bit fried by the layout. Like, yes, it's just a 65%, but with these and the double B, but it sounds all right. It is a little bit hollow and it is quite loud. Overall, it's not too bad. Alrighty, so that has been the Cidoo ABM066. Overall, how many Thock boys out of 5 do we give this one? Like 3.5, 4?
Yeah.
I reckon, yeah, we'll give it a 3.8. 3.8, there you go. 3.8 Thock boys out of 5. Pros would be, it's very affordable. We'll put a link to purchase this in the description. Yeah, super affordable. It's a good entry level to the Alice layout. The RGB is really, really good. The fact that it's got its own software as well as being VIA compatible for those macros and stuff, it's a big plus. People will love that. The LCD screen with the TFT, which I really don't know what TFT stands for, some crystal display. It's pretty cool. The fact that you can customize it, big positives. Negatives, I guess for me, was the build quality wasn't perfect. It's a little bit hollow, and the fact that the foam was not pre-punctured. You might need a couple of spare switches just in case you bend some legs like this. You could also just be more careful. Probably partly my fault as well as partly the keyboards. Sound wise, Emmy absolutely loves the sound. She thinks it sounds great. Personally, I think it sounds good. It's very loud, but I wish it was just a little bit deeper. That could be the choice of switches. I could have put, again, like Emmy said, coconut lattes or something in, but I thought the red wines would be thocky enough. We could modify this too to make it even better, but as stock, if you just want something that's nice, you want to try the Alice layout, you want to try something a bit more ergonomic, save your wrists, highly recommend. Another thing that I just want to test before we finish up is, does it work with our cloud wrist palm rest? If you can pass that over. If you do have palm rests, you may have issues because of the shape. So you need to make sure that you get one. I believe they do sell a palm rest that works, but this may not be a bad option having this because it does kind of curve around this way and it's not that bad. Sorry, I think I'm shaking the camera. That's actually pretty cute together. But yeah, so 3.8 Thock boys out of 5. We love it. If you love it too, please check out our store, link below. But I've been Jake and Emmy's been Emmy. And this is What the Thock, and we'll see you next time. Keep on thocking.